So your ultimate goal is to get one variable alone on one side. Does it matter what side the x is on? Can it say x equals? Can it also say something equals x? Yes, it's both the same thing. All right? We're going to use a distributive property if necessary. How do I know that we're going to use a distributive property? What am I going to see?
Parentheses.
You're going to see parentheses. And distributive means to what? Means to multiply. This is the number 2 is what students fail to do on PFA 3. And that's the reason why more people fail PFA 3 is because they don't do step 2. Combine like terms. What is like terms? Give me an example of what like terms are. X's, right? 3x, 4x, and 5x. Can I add and subtract those? Why? Because they're all x's, because they're all a like, right? Just like if I took the x off, can I add and subtract those numbers?
Yeah.
Yes, because they're all a like. They're all alike, right? Well, sometimes when things are alike on one side of the equal sign, we can combine them before we start moving. And there's 2 problems that are in these 6 that have to do with that number 2. And that's the reason when they don't take the time and combine like terms, they fail it. All right. Step 3 says move the variable by its inverse, which is also the same as its opposite. We want to get the variables together, right? We're going to move the smallest variable. That's how Miss Wright, when Miss Wright would teach 8th grade math, we would always, that's right. We would move the smallest variable. Why the smallest variable? Because 99.9% of the time when you move the smallest variable, your variables stay positive. It's less of a mistake to make because we've got that negative sign in front. And the last thing we do is we solve as usual. The last thing that you're ever going to do when solving equations, the very, very, very last step is to do what?
Divide.
Divide. That's your last step. Are we good? Here we go. All right, I'm going to draw my line. Because we don't have any distribution, right? We don't have any parentheses. I don't have anything over here. I don't have anything to put together, do I? No, I don't have anything to put together over here. No. We're going to see a problem in a minute where I'm going to have some stuff to put together before I move. All right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to box in my variables. This is an 8th grade problem. This is 8th grade. This right here is algebra. What's the difference between this and this?
The parentheses.
The parentheses, that's the difference. We're about to do one thing here, and then we're going to turn it into a 7th grade problem. All right? We're going to move the variable. What's the smallest variable? The 12x or the 2x?
2x.
How do I move the 2x? The opposite, which is to do what?
Subtract.
So I'm going to subtract 2x. Subtract 2x. You know if it doesn't have an x, it doesn't get subtracted. Equals. What is 12x minus 2x?
10x.
10x plus 15 equals. What happened here?
Cancel
They
out.
cancel, and what do I have left?
35.
That is now a 7th grade math problem. Right? You have variable, you have one variable. Right? That's a 7th grade math problem now. So what am I going to move?
Subtract 15.
Why subtract 15?
Because you want the 10 to be alone.
You want the 10 to be alone, right? I'm not going to move the 10x, right? We're going to subtract 15. We're going to do that to both sides because what you do to one side, you
Do to the other.
do to the other. What happens here?
It cancels out.
It cancels out. And what do I have left over here? 10x equals, what's 35 minus 15?
20.
20. Last step, what do I do?
Divide.
5,
10.
so x equals what?
2.
Well, miss, how do I check myself? This is how. I'm not gonna put x, but instead of x, guess what I'm gonna put? Parentheses. I wanna put the parentheses, because every time, 12 parentheses plus 15. This goes on one line in Desmos. Go to Desmos, and on that first line, put 12 parentheses plus 15. You forget all this, but you have an answer choice, you better not miss it. You put that side in. Instead of x, I put parentheses. I put that side in. Instead of x, I put parentheses. And you start putting your answer choices in there. Because both of these have to be the what? They have to be equal. They have to be the same. That's how you check your work. Are we good? All right, let's go to the next one. What do we have? We have parentheses. So what does parentheses mean? Distribute. It means to multiply, right? So we're going to multiply 3 times x, and we're going to multiply 3 times 22. What is 3 times x?
3x.
What is 3 times 22? A positive 66 equals 12x plus 30. I'm going to draw my line. Do we have anything over here to put together? To combine? Do we have anything over here to combine? You'll see something to combine in a minute, but what I am going to do is I want to box in my variables. I want to move the lowest variable. Now I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have homework tonight. And if I move 12, if I subtract the 12 from both sides, I'm going to get a negative over there. And a lot of people want to stay away from those negatives. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which variable you move. You keep it balanced. What you do to one side, you do to the other. And you solve for x. Everybody's going to get the same answer. I'm going to release y'all in a minute. I'm going to let y'all do a problem. And then Miss Wright's going to come back, and Miss Wright's going to do it a little different than you did, just to show you that we get the same answer. All right. What do we want to move, the 3x or the 12x?
3x.
The 3x. How do we move to 3x?
Subtracting it.
By subtract, because it's the what?
Opposite.
It's the opposite, so we subtract. We subtract. Remember, if I'm subtracting x, I want to put that x right there. Equals. What happens here?
Cancels out.
It cancels out. So what do I have over here?
66.
66. What do I have over here?
9x.
9 what?
X.
X. Stop. 12x minus 3x is
9
9x
plus
plus
30.
30. This isn't magic, class. Nothing seems to disappear. So I want to still box in my variable. That is a 7th grade math problem. What am I going to move?
30.
How do I move to 30?
Subtract it.
Subtract 30. What is 66 minus 30?
36.
36. Equals. What happened here? It cancels out, and what do I have left? What's my last step?
Dividing.
By
9.
x equals what? I want to show you how I would put this in Desmos. I am letting you know, do not put parentheses where parentheses are not. I'm going to rewrite this 3x plus 22. Watch this. I had to show this one girl. She had parentheses here and parentheses there. I said, no, she didn't understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this, right? So I have 3x plus 22. And around the x, I'm going to put parentheses. And guess what goes in that parentheses? 4. Yes, it looks funny, but for every open parenthesis, you have closed parentheses. So that goes on one line. My next line would be 12 parentheses plus 30. What goes in the parentheses? 4. And both of these numbers should be the what?
Same.
They should be the same. They should be equal. If they're not, you put something in decimals wrong. 4 is the correct answer. So when you're going back and you're checking your answer, Alyssa and Xiomara, second period. Miss, I didn't get the right thing. And when I looked at Alyssa, I had to show Alyssa, when we rewrite it, you put the X, but then you have to put parentheses around it. She was doing it, she meant well, but she wasn't getting the same answer, and it was just an easy fix. Questions or comments?
No. Hey.
Go do that one. Go. I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Hashtag stupid.
2 minutes.
Stop. I have an obsession with saying that. Uh-oh.
Did you check your answer? Go check your answer. That's how you know that you got it right. If you are looking for a gold star from this teacher, I don't have enough gold stars to hand out. You're smart enough to go back and check your work. We missed you Friday. Oh, we were working and we missed your sense of humor. Oh, yes. Oh, so I'm going to distribute the 3 to the 14 and the 3 to the 9. So I have 34x plus 95 equals 3 times 14 is 42x. 3 times 9 is 27. I've had too many people today fail to distribute the 3 to the 9, and that's where they made their mistake. They would x and the 3 to the 1. Why am I not going to distribute the 3 to the negative 5?
Because not in the parentheses.
Because it's not in the parentheses. All right? So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1 is
3.
positive 3, but this is not magic class. He doesn't go away. Minus 5 equals 5x minus 2. Oh my. It's going to stop, Alvaro. It's going to stop. Now, I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to box in my variable. Does everybody see what I see, other than rain falling out of the sky? What do I see over here? I can combine them. People are going to miss that. I want everybody to put their pencil down. Everybody put their pencil down. Everybody put their pencil down. All right. I'm going to show you where people start making their mistake. This is what not to do. Don't do this. What did I do wrong? I put minus 3 because what we do to one side, we do what? We do to the other. That's not what's happening here. I already did it once. To avoid all that, I am not moving. I can put these two numbers together. Guys, I'm not moving something from one side of the equal sign to the other. I'm not. I am on this side. And while I'm on this side, I can combine things if they're alike. I can put those two together. What is 3 minus 5?
-2.
It is -2. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3x minus 2 equals 5x minus 2. That is why I see people fail PFA 3. I'm not moving anything. I want to combine everything before I move. So when I start moving stuff, I have a box and a number. I have a box and a number. That's how you know you're ready to move. All right. So what am I going to move? The 3x or the 5x?
3x.
How do I move it?
Subtracting
You
it.
subtract it. I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna subtract 3x. Subtract 3x. What happens here?
It cancels out.
It cancels out. What do I have on the left side?
-2.
-2. On the right-hand side, what is 5x minus 3x?
2x.
2 what?
X.
X. Minus 2.
2.
Now what do I move?
-2.
What am I going to move from over here?
Negative
How do
two.
I move the -2?
Adding it.
You do the opposite. I'm going to add 2. Does this bother anybody? Don't let it. Where you should be bothered is when I start eliminating variables. What is -2 plus 2?
0.
0 equals. What happened here?
Cancels out.
It cancels out, and what do I have left?
2x.
2x. What is my last step?
Dividing.
Divide. What am I going to divide by?
2.
No, I'm going to divide what's in front of x. I'm going to divide by 2. What is 0 divided by 2?
0.
So x equals 0. Is that okay for an answer?
Yes.
Why? Because 0 is a what? It's a number. All right, let's go to the next one. I've got
#studios.
7 minutes, and I've got 3 problems to get through. All right, here we go. What do we have now? On both sides, easy peasy, Japanese. I'm going to distribute the 4 to all of this, and I'm going to distribute the 3 to all of this. All right, what is 4 times 2x? 8x. What is 4 times -8? -32. You're close. All right, equals. What is 3 times 2?
6.
6. What is 3 times -3?
-9x.
-9x. Good job. I'm going to box in my variables. That -9, that negative goes with 9. It's in front. The sign in front of the number goes with the number. So what am I going to move? Am I going to move 8x or the -9x? -9, I'm going to move the smallest variable. I want to stay positive. So I'm going to add 9x because I'm doing the opposite. What is 8x plus 9x?
17.
17 what? X. 17x what?
-32.
Minus 32 equals
6.
6. What happened right here?
Cancels out.
It canceled out. I'm going to box in my variable. That is now a 7th grade problem. What am I going to move? The -32, right? How am I going to move him? Adding. I do the opposite. What happened here?
Cancels out.
It can't step.
Dividing.
Divide by what?
17.
Leave it as that fraction. That's an ugly looking decimal. All right, we have 2 more, and I've got 4 minutes to get to them. All right, let me ask you something. How many? What's the number in front of the parentheses?
4.
4. What's the number in front of the parentheses?
3.
What's the number in front of the parentheses? Not a 1. -1. There is something in front of that parentheses, right? It's a -1, just like with the x's. How many x's? 1, right? When you have that negative, we know it to be a -1. We are going to distribute the -1. What is -1 times x?
-1x.
-1x. What is -1 times a positive 7? -7 equals -6x plus 8. I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to box in my variables. What am I gonna move, -1 or -6?
-6.
-6, because it is the smallest. How do I move -6x? By adding the opposite. I'm going to add 6x. I'm going to add 6x. Okay? What is -1 plus 6x? 5x what? Minus 7. What happened here?
Cancels out.
It cancels out, and what am I left with?
8.
8. Okay? I'm going to box that in. Now what do I move?
-7.
How do I move the -7?
Adding it.
What happened here?
Cancels out.
Cancels out. What am I left with?
5x.
5x equals what? 15. Last step, what do I do?
Divide.
Divide by 5. So x equals what? 3. Alright. Questions or comments?
No.
We know there's a -1 up there. Alright, let's go to this one. Now what do I have? I have more parentheses. We're almost done. We're almost done. I'm going to distribute the 3. What am I going to distribute over here?
2.
Not a 2.
-2.
-2. Why the -2? Because that's what's up against the parentheses. The sign in front of the number goes with the number. What's 3 times x?
3x.
3x. What's 3 times 2?
6.
Positive 6. It's not magic. That doesn't go away. What is -2 times x? -2x. What's -2 times -3?
6.
Positive 6. Hold on, guys. I've got my variables. Oh. Can I combine anything over here? I can. I can put -5 and 6 together. It's on the same side. I'm not changing the value. I'm just combining them. I need a box and a number. Over here, I have 2 boxes and a number. What's -5 plus 6?
1.
1 minus 2x. We're almost done. We're almost done. And what am I going to move? The -2x or the 3x? What am I going to move? The -2x or the 3x?
-2x.
How do I move the -2x?
Adding 2x.
Designated for your bus. We will let you outside when your bus
3x plus
arrives.
2x is what?
Have a wonderful
5x.
evening, Wildcats.
That cancels and I'm left with 1. Now what do I do? What do I do? Subtract 6. Subtract 6. This cancels and I'm left with 5x equals what's 1 minus 6?
-5.
Last step, what do we do?
Divide by 5.
X equals -1. You see this right here? That's homework. Y'all be ready. Homework. If you're a bus rider and your bus is not outside, go sit in the cafeteria. Your bus numbers will be on the table.